Test, test, test. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everyone. We've got a lot to talk about. We have 7 days in a row of severe weather and pretty significant severe weather in many cases. We'll start with the visible satellite loop this morning showing a spinning in the clouds and already convection that was ongoing overnight in South Dakota. That's where the center of the spin is. A very active southern jet, too. You can see by the cirrus clouds that kind of arc up from Old Mexico into the southern plains. So these two are conspiring to bring severe weather today to much of this area and beyond. We'll take a look at the simulated radar. This is the HRRR's version of what it thinks radar will look like, and in particular, I want you to pay attention. This is 48 hours, by the way, so this is a line of storms that breaks out today in Wisconsin. Also, that secondary area right there is very interesting to me. It's because of that split jet stream scenario that we're looking at. And then this goes 48 hours, 42 hours. Then we have a redevelopment of showers and thunderstorms there. That's Friday's severe weather outbreak. And outbreak is the right use of the term for both today and tomorrow. So here is the Storm Prediction Center's severe weather outlook. So we have this large area of enhanced 3 out of 5 risk that covers the heart of Wisconsin and big cities like Minneapolis, Rhinelander, Eau Claire, Madison, Milwaukee, Chicago, Grand Rapids, Michigan, South Bend, Indiana, all in that risk area. And then it does extend all the way down to the Boot Heel and into parts of northern Arkansas too, but that's the second 2 out of 5 risk. As far as tornado probabilities, SPC forecast, once again, 10% risk in yellow in the heart of Wisconsin, just a kind of a fine area in the middle of what I just showed you, basically. But a 10% risk means 10% of a tornado within 25 miles. And on the scale of things, these first 4 categories show up in spring. These last 2 are rare, and if they do, we have big trouble. But so that saying that 10% out of all spring forecasts is actually fairly significant wording. And then this brown area, which is 5%, extends right down into the Boot Heel. That's why I'm watching that very carefully. As far as significant tornado threats, this is where the SPC thinks there's a 10% chance or greater of higher end tornadoes. So this is EF2 through EF5s. And so that, again, covers that exact same area, Chicagoland area, Madison, Milwaukee, the same ones I named earlier. So certainly be on the watch out for some of those supercells to be tornadic and be tornadic with a high-end tornado probability. As far as the SIPS forecast, this is made, St. Louis University produces this, and they've got, this is any severe weather. So this is reaching its peak, it looks like right around Grand Rapids, southeast Michigan into Indiana. That makes perfect sense given the scenario. As far as their tornado probability, more of a broad brush here for all of Illinois, a portion of Iowa, and certainly that central part of Wisconsin, but they didn't find any matching for tornadoes more east than that. That doesn't mean that that's right. It's just guidance. And then on the CSU, the upper left-hand panel is the tornado forecast, and they bullseye that right in the center of Wisconsin with the yellow 10% area, basically where the SPC put it. And then this is hail over here, and this is wind. Take a look. I grabbed a snapshot of the HRRR here at 5 p.m. today, Thursday. So this thunderstorm line is just like a string of pearls. And if you see these little gray areas here, these little lines look like snail trails. Those are helicity updraft trails. A helicity updraft just means it's a supercell, and if it has a trail, it means it lasts long enough to be significant. So any one of those could produce a tornado through Wisconsin. And then there's that secondary thunderstorm. So I think it has to be watched. The split nature of the jet stream is interesting to me. How the models are going to handle what happens to these storms. There may be an upgrade necessary. That's in the slight risk area today, so we're going to keep an eye on that, certainly. Now, the severe weather outlook for Friday, changing gears now. This shifts completely. So the level 3 out of 5 is from southeast Missouri, northeast Arkansas, right up the Ohio River Valley to Cincinnati. So pretty high risk. And generally speaking, both these days have had large areas of at least level 1. So this is, again, outbreak territory. So a lot of ground to cover here on the severe weather threat. As far as tornado threat, again, the 10% rears its ugly head tomorrow in these areas from southern Illinois and Indiana, right around the Ohio River Valley, Kentucky, into southeast Missouri. And then they have a significant percentage put out tomorrow as well for those same areas. That's that 10% chance of a stronger tornado occurring in that same area. So something to be taken very seriously. As far as SIPS's probabilities here, it makes sense. They have from Michigan down to the southern portion of Illinois. That's any severe. Their tornado threat bullseyes right over southern Illinois, which is certainly in that higher 15% chance area. So, or that was a 10. It was a 10, right? But anyway, it was pretty high. And then CSU verifies maybe a little bit more north with the tornado threat, and certainly significant severe in terms of a wind probability too, through Kentucky, southern Indiana, and into Ohio. So then we go to Saturday. It doesn't stop. So now we break this into two. Big arc of stable air moves in here and shoves this front to the east coast. So we have a 2 out of 5 chance. Richmond, nation's capital, Philadelphia, Raleigh, of any severe there. And then the secondary boundary where the moisture and instability is riding back north. So that covers Tulsa, Dallas, stretching back into parts of Texas and much of Arkansas, and that is on Saturday for any severe. SIPS shows that high pressure system and how it's carving out more stable air, but it also shows that surge northward a little bit. SPC is a little more positive that's going to happen. And the CSU model has it in about the place they put it, so about the same. But notice that their hail probability matches the Storm Prediction Center's quite well. So it looks like that might be mostly a hail and wind event, but certainly tornadoes would be possible. So let's keep going. We have 3 more days. Sunday, this is just a refinement of what they had yesterday. So it's a typical dry line outbreak covering much of Oklahoma and into Kansas. Certainly something to be watched, a very traditional outbreak. Sunday's SIPS matches that, but takes the thunderstorm threat maybe a little bit more to the east. CSU's has it very interesting. So this Sunday threat actually extends much more to the east. And if you've watched this before, you know I live right there. So this is what I'm worried about late Sunday for Springfield in western Missouri. Luckily, when you say late, that's actually good. Maybe it's diminished a little bit by then, more of an organized squall line with the high wind threat. And then on Monday, this whole thing shifts, does include western Missouri. And if you're watching, I'll have a special heads-up video for just southwest Missouri and northwest Arkansas later today. But this is a typical Great Plains outbreak with tornadoes probable in that. Probably, they're going to happen. And then on Monday, SIPS, basic agreement, just a broader brush. And then getting into Monday's CSU forecast more solidly over western Missouri and running down the heart of Kansas, eastern Kansas, and Oklahoma, including maybe parts of right around Omaha and parts of Nebraska as well. Then on Tuesday, this shifts and the epicenter is right over Missouri and Arkansas. SIPS verifies that with their probability at 30% on Tuesday. And the final one we'll look at here this morning is CSU's model here's the SPC forecast. Theirs is pretty much in agreement with that. A lot to cover today. Stay alert, especially today and tomorrow where we have more certainty of tornadoes. If we have any significant updates, I will bring them to you on YouTube, or if you follow me on Facebook, it might be one of those days where I put out a still graphic. Have a good day. Thanks for watching today's edition of Severe Thunderstorm Outlooks. This is published every day after the morning Storm Prediction Center update. Also, remember to check that site off on day 1 because they update it fairly frequently. If you like this video, please like it. Also, you can subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.